Hey guys, I haven't done one of these video blogs in a while, so sorry about that. I have decided to do more of a theme for my videos, because before they were just kind of random and I postponed from doing them, and they just got so discombobulated and just so all over the place. So I thought I'd just have a theme. So a couple weekends ago, my coworker and I went to Paris and hung out with friends, or really her friends, and they're now my friends, and it was really an awesome time. We went to France. I had a chocolate mousse, I had a crepe, and I'm pretty sure I ate my weight in croissants. I think I've had more croissants in the past few weeks. Now that I know how delicious they are, full of butter, of course. Butter, as Paula Deen would say, a pound of butter. Now that I know exactly how much butter they are, I'm trying to distance myself from them, which is really, really hard because they are delicious. So good. They use very salted butter in France, which I dug. It was really good, a natural fresh butter. It was really good at it was more of a sustainable restaurant, cafe, really out of the way, very small place. It's one of the first places that we went. When we got there on Thursday, we went by the Louvre, or we walked by it. We didn't really get to go in it until later. We went down a famous walking street or famous shopping street. I walked past Cartier, Tiffany and Company, all these famous stores, and of course, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Went down to the Arc de Triomphe. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And finally, I got checked into my hotel later on that night. There was a Toronto and Winnipeg hockey game in French, which was really interesting. We went to the Petit Palais Art Museum. Let's see. Oh, I'm still going off my notes from my iPod Touch, in case you're wondering. I felt much safer in Madrid than I did in Paris. The metro was not confusing. I had a better map than the online map that I had downloaded from iTunes. Trying to find a head cold for the past week, which is delightful. Let's see. I don't feel romantic in Paris. I didn't feel as safe. I did not. The kissing of the cheek throws me off. My own dad doesn't even kiss me on the cheek. He might shake my hand. After I graduated from Bismarck State College, he shook my hand. And that's all he did. He didn't even say, hey, good job. You went to a cheap college, good for you. Nothing. It was just a shake of the hand. And that was, but that's my dad also. So not French. The whole kissing of cheek thing is just not something that I'm very used to. I'm used to a good firm handshake and looking at a person in the eyes. So I don't feel very comfortable with that. There's the use of physical affection between non-family members, and so there's not even a term for public display of affection in French. There's a term for if the people are like making out and like getting to second base. Or like practically having sex, but even if it's just holding hands, kissing on the cheek, I saw so many people on park benches just kind of just looking at each other romantically, and I didn't heckle them so much. I might have said something a little bit loud, but I don't think they heard, and even then, I don't know if they would have spoken English. Very few people in France approve of English. If you're in France, it's much like the American concept. If you are in this country, you should speak our language. If not, I mean, you might find somebody who does, but don't expect it, and don't just assume anything. So I had no French whatsoever. I maybe had because of my little bit of Spanish that I remembered, not only that from Madrid, but from MSc, excuse me, the Spanish that I had there. It was, I could piece together a few of the words, but I really had no idea what I was looking at most of the time. So I was going to wear a little bit of makeup to make sure I didn't look dead because this flight was something like, oh my gosh, we had to get up at 2:30. We had to be at the airport by 3:30 or 3. It was an $80 cab ride. $80 to get to the from ACN, the college here, to the airport, 15 minutes away. Okay, let me put that into perspective for you people. $80, 15 minutes. That is insane. Okay, that is $5.33 per minute. Okay, wait, let me divide that. Let me take a look at that. Nope, it's $5 per minute. That is an expensive freaking cab. Okay? And it's only for 15 minutes. It was, oh, I can't stop complaining about that. I will try to move on from the insane expense of living in this country. And I found out right beforehand that Katie and Casey had their baby Tucka. Yay! Yay, babies! And I came up with the name Tucker. Not only did I introduce Katie and Casey, and I said, why don't you name the person? You could always name your child after the person who introduced you to, because, I mean, well, it would only seem fair and right, because you never know if the person who introduced you, if they're going to have a child, you know. And of course they laughed, like, shut up, Kim. So, yes. I had, the next day we went to a Moroccan restaurant. I had no idea what I was eating, because, the French couple, Anna and Olivier, Olivier was at work, and Anna was like our guide for the day. And Lori and her son, they know a little bit of French, and so they were reading off the menu, and I didn't want to bother them, so I just, when the waiter came around, I said, I will have that, yeah, okay. So I had no idea what I ordered. I can't tell you what I ordered. I could just tell you that my appetizer had naan and peppers and North African spices together in oil. It was delicious. And then I had, let's see, what was the appetizer? It was beef. I remember that because beef in Norway is really expensive, and so I had beef. Yeah, that's to the extent of what I can tell you what it was. It was some sort of soup that went with rice, and it was, oh my gosh. And then I was so full. And the server came around, because it was an outdoor cafe. He came around, and he was going to fill up the thing again for free, because that way we could have had more. Oh my gosh, I was stuffed. It was so good. So good. We went to a few different vintage shops, and a lot of the French use fur in their fashion. So if you're going to vintage shops with a vegan and a vegetarian and their son, or what, the vegan son, who also is a vegan, don't buy fur. I did not buy fur. I did not feel the need to buy it because it was, you know, even though it's the euro, it's still overpriced. But I didn't necessarily have a thing against it. Because most of the people that I know that do fur trading and fur rendezvous and whatnot, they do not let the animal suffer. It is very swift, and it's most of the time the animal is going to be used for something else anyways, maybe food or for other means. So, however, not everybody sees it like that. And I did get my ass chewed once when I said that the cows on the farm, when I saw them Freddy kiss, that what happens after that is their problem. Like, you can't possibly tell me that those animals don't suffer before they get butchered. I said, it's not my problem after they leave my farm. How could you say that? How could you possibly let another animal suffer? Well, I donate money for humans not to suffer. That's what I do. I wish I had more time in the Louvre instead of shopping and looking at vintage clothing. Most of that stuff didn't fit because I'm a larger person and Europe doesn't have a larger population. So I wanted to see more of the Louvre, and unfortunately the 15-year-old son, his shoe was really hurting, so we had to slow down a little bit, but normally in a museum, I don't sit and watch things. Like, I am, alright, this is the Louvre, this is huge, there's 4 wings, there's 4 levels, let's just get this going. And I walk fast, briskly, I might stop and read a few things. I did see the Mona Lisa, the Winged Victory, just about everything that was highlighted on that map that the Louvre gave us. I did. I could tell that my patience was getting thin. and I just couldn't handle it. I just could not handle traveling with a young person anymore. And it's nothing against the young person because I know that he is a good kid. It's just so frustrating when somebody wants to go shopping and I don't give a shit about shopping. So like a day later, after visiting a few of the touristy spots, there was I just had to go pray for patience. So I went to Sacré-Cœur, a larger church, and at Notre Dame. I was mocked for having faith. From this young person, I was called a sucker because I gave a homeless person some change. And at that point, I just had it. Everything that he did was just, I couldn't handle it. So I was drunk in the middle of Saturday, because I wanted to just be done with it. So I ordered apple frost, which is a nice apple apple lager or apple beer type thing. I had a few of those, and in French fries, they're not in France. They're steak fries. They're a little bit thicker. When I prayed for patience, I had this moment that, okay, he's only 15 years old and needs hard lessons learned. And just like I learned the hard way, he will eventually learn the hard way if he continues on to be a very trying and impatient and demanding individual. Somebody will check him into the wall. It's not my responsibility. So when I was praying for patience in both Sacré-Cœur, which was in the morning, and both Notre Dame, which was in the evening, I just had this moment of patience is within me. It just takes time. Thank God. Thank God. Dios míos. I was not staying in the same place because I'm pretty sure it would not have ended the same. If the beer is not 50 milliliters, let it go. It's not that big of a deal. Care less, love more. So if you say that it's 50 milliliters and it's on the glass, if the foam comes into 50 milliliters and it's down a little bit farther than that, it's not that big of a deal. I had that moment of, again, when my patience was so tried because I thought, I'm in Paris, I'm not going to get to go to Paris again in my life. Very rarely. You never know, granted, but I would much rather get it done in one trip or get as much as I can done. And because the chances of it happening, or the chances of me coming back here again are very slim. And here, the two people lived there. One person I'd been there for three times, and the 15-year-old had been there twice. So I wanted to get as much done. So I lost my temper with the 15-year-old. All he said was, art is too boring, so too blah, all these churches, blah, blah, blah. His feet hurt, and then he didn't want to, I was rushed out of churches and guilty of not giving money. I didn't get the food that I want. In the middle of the gay district in Paris, we passed a gelato place, and I screamed out, I've never had gelato! And they stopped and turned around and said, I'm going in! And so I went in. We saw Tilda Swinton. Oh my gosh, the Ice Queen? Yes. Or she was Gabriel in Constantine, Tilda Swinton. We saw her. Yeah. There was no churches allowed in Sacré-Cœur. There was a couple of Asian girls who took pictures, and they were kicked out by the person. Like they had their camera up, and they snapped the picture, and then he swatted their hand down, which I don't know how he could legally get away with that. And then he just pointed for them to leave, and which was interesting. And if you ever want to go around Paris, make sure you wear mustaches, because that is awesome.